In each RPS tool, you'll see a series of tabs along the bottom of the screen. These tabs pull up different Excel worksheets that perform different functions. Setup is where you create and run your screening. The general layout of the Setup worksheet is as follows. Instructions are in the green shaded box like all RPS worksheets. The left column is where you select the watersheds you are going to screen. In the other three columns, you select ecological, stressor, and social indicators from drop-down menus and assign weights if you like. The Run Screening button at the upper left then automatically calculates scores based on the indicators you chose. The Reset Screening button is there only if you want to clear everything from the setup sheet and start over from scratch. Now let's zoom in a bit. First, let's select watersheds, or HUC 12s as is usually the case. You see a list of the names and IDs from which you can select individually. Or if you're going to do a statewide screening, you can just select all. But most of the time, you'll probably want to screen a high-interest subset of watersheds, and it's best to have this list in advance. The Subsets tab is where you can store these frequently used lists for easy access. Let's go get one. Select and copy a subset without including the subset name. Come back to the setup sheet and paste that in on the first blank cell of the left column. Now you'll select indicators that you're going to use in your screening. First, click on the Select Ecological Indicators button, and you will see a scrollable menu of the available indicators pop up. There's dozens here, but pick just 5 to 10 that are most relevant to your screening purpose. If you want to read the description of any indicator, just double-click on it. Make your selections, click Add Indicators, and then Exit. Repeat this process with the stressor indicators and the social indicators. One important note, you must pick at least one in each of the three categories or the tool will not run. If you want to leave one of the three out of your comparison, just select the neutral variable in the ecological, stressor, or social category as the only indicator in that column. Now that we've selected watersheds and indicators, the last step is to consider assigning weights. It's okay to run a screening with everything equally weighted, and that's the default setting. But it's probably rare to think that all variables are equally important, so we do encourage weighting the most important ones more heavily. All you do here is click on the current weight to the right of an indicator and overwrite it with a value you want to put in. Most users don't get very fancy with weighting. Just using 3, 2, 1 for high, medium, low is pretty common for a screening tool. A couple other points about weighting. 1, stick with whole numbers. 2, note that weighting affects the indicator's value only within its category, not across all three categories. In other words, raising all the stressor indicators to a 9 does not make the whole stressor index more heavily weighted overall. In fact, it leaves them still equally weighted. So, here we are with watersheds, indicators, and weights all selected, so let's run this screening. Hit the Run Screening button at the upper left and wait for the tool to do its math. Often, a warning pop-up sign will appear. This is just to inform you of 2 conditions that may make you want to consider making changes. One warning tells you all the watersheds have the same value for a specific indicator. If that indicator isn't contributing to how the watersheds differ, do you really want to use it? The other warning appears when some watersheds are missing a value for a specific indicator. When this happens, the tool calculates the index on the remaining indicators. It's your choice whether to change the indicator selection at this point or make your improvements before running the screening again. We'll just select Yes for now and move on. And this is the screen we want to see. Screening successfully completed. You're done with the hard part. Now you can look at your screening results in a number of different formats found on the other tabs for Results, Bubble Plot, and Map. And each one of those has their own video training clip to watch.